Good afternoon, class. I just wanted to touch base and maybe give you guys some tips about the planning for your first module assignment, some strategies to implement not only for this assignment, but every assignment going forward in the course, right? So what I want everybody to do is to pop over to the internet course tutorial again, where I've outlined a lot of the goals of the class, and check out the section titled Module Assignments. Right here, we talk about the importance of how each module will culminate in a written essay based on the module lessons and the resources. This essay will need to be 3 to 5 basically needs to have needs to follow the standard trajectory of every or arc of a traditional essay: introduction, body, conclusion. You should have an intro and a conclusion, and then also 3 to 5 minimum body paragraphs. You can exceed this, but this is a minimum. I don't want you to think of it as like a 5 paragraph theme. That's kind of the most elementary, basic form of writing. But what we're going to try to do is try to really say this is the minimum depth that we want to deal with any idea that in a module assignment is this introduction, 3 to 5 body paragraphs, and then the conclusion. Again, doing more, never penalized for in this class. Now, here's the key is planning your essays is critical to your success. First thing you need to do is review the prompt. From then, familiarize yourself with the module resources. Plan this essay, and don't forget to integrate historical sources. But today we're going to talk about the planning phase, and the most important part of any essay is an introduction. So, what I would like for you to do is to use this guide right here to help you navigate this process. And I think that if you embrace this process right here, you will find success in every module assignment in this class. Right? So what's the key to a good introduction? This goes for any essay. Here in this class, in an English class, wherever you're at writing, this is bound to find you success. At least it's my recipe, right? First, what we need to do is know there's 3 parts to a good introduction: a lead, a thesis and an argument, and a method statement. So let's go through each one. The lead, right, is a way of orienting your reader to the subject of your essay. You need to start thinking in academic writing that you're writing to a general reader, not to a specific person. Like you're not writing to your instructor, you're writing to the conversation of academia, right? So whoever is picking up your paper, they need to be able to be familiarized with the subject in a way that orients them to what is going on. So in this case, you want to orient your reader to what the topic and the goals and kind of the ideas behind the reason you're even writing the essay. So we call this the lead. And what you can do is just maybe talk about, in this case, we're writing about what is history and why and how do we do it. So in this case, you might want to just say something to the effect of a couple of sentences about, the importance of history to humanity, or whatever this may be. Somehow introduce the reader to the subject. I like to use the analogy, instead of tossing your a child into the pool, right, to teach them how to swim, but introduce them to the concept of swimming and water and what you're going to do and the perils that could potentially come with it, right? So this lead, kind of gives them some orientation. Next, go to the thesis and the argument. This is the most important part and the hardest part of any introduction. Make a claim. Tell the reader what you will convince them of, what you will conclude. So many times I say in my students' feedback, this conclusion, the final paragraph of the essay, would have made a great introduction. Tell the reader exactly what your conclusion is, your final, what you're going to convince them of, right? So some keys here is don't use the word discuss or examine, right? Those kind of bait you into generalities. Say, look, this is the answer. History is this, and you should practice it for blah, 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 and blah. Not, we're going to discuss why history is important. Tell them, what is history? Why is history important? Why do you do it? The final part is the method statement. This is how you are going to convince them. Gives you an itinerary for what to talk about. Right? So this is where you want to go, how you're going to get there. And these are signposts for the reader to look out for, and really a framework for you to build upon. So in some ways, you think of this as like the introduction should do this is, hey, this is what we're talking about. This is what I'm going to convince you of. And this is how we're going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then now the body is me convincing you of it. And the conclusion is, hey, that's what I just convinced you of. I hope that these tips will kind of help you, or some strategies to apply to building an introduction. And you're going to just want to replicate this all semester long.